Some of those that watched the previous video will note that despite the toughness of some of these sticks, they weren't too successful on this VP Racing tin. I don't think the toughest stick in the world would really have done that much. But I have a different kind of stick, and we'll see how well this tin holds up to that kind of stick. We'll get to that in just a minute. It works from a distance too. What I have here is a old H&R Model 1908, a single shot 12 gauge, and when I got it, it had a walnut stock that was cracked, and I probably could have just put a hole in it and doweled it and glued it, and it would have been fine, and almost certainly superior to what I did as far as toughness goes. But I had a scrap piece of cherry wood, and I wanted to see what I could do, so I made a cherry wood stock for it, and well, that's it. And I got even a back plate for it with just some silly stainless steel Robertson screws. And it's very short, and some people, they might think that's too short. The way I use a shotgun is I don't stick it so much in my shoulder. I plant it in my chest. And that's my style, and you do what you do. I guess I'll do what I do. But I'm going to go after that VP Racing tin, and we're at about 100 yards here, and I'll probably miss because I don't practice much. I think I've only shot this a couple times in the last couple years. But let's see how it does with 2 3/4 shell and slug. I'll zoom in on it. So you might be able to just make out to the left of that plate. You might see that VP Racing tin. And that's what I'll be aiming at from way out here. Did you see anything?
Only thing I saw was the wad hit the water. I saw it hit a little high, I think.
High. My attempts to hit that at 100 yards failed, and I'm not that stubborn today, and ammo isn't as cheap as it used to be when I did that. So, for purposes of efficiency and aesthetics and such, I'm going to go ahead and shoot it at close range.
There we go.
Yeah, that works. All right, one more jug and one more slug. 12 gauge slug it's my favorite round. I'm fond of a lot of them, but something about the slug. And look at the length of pull on this. It's very, very, very short stock. and I love it. You have to be careful how you hold it. You know, these old guns, it's a sharp hammer. Really, I should probably file that down a bit, but it sure does work. That's really satisfying. All the fun out of the way. This is the most recent cocobolo stick, and this was made from a pretty gnarly piece of wood. Not much I could have done with it. The handle is smaller than it should be, but that's what I had to work with. You know, I had it on the workbench and it fell off and struck me in the instep or somewhere, so I picked it up to show it who was boss, and I threw it down harder than it hit me, and this chunk popped out to the front. So with this, I took some old mother of pearl I had, and I smashed it down with the hammer into powder and some chunks and inlaid it. So that's basically just super glue with mother of pearl powder, and I use that to fill in. And this is stout. Now, this here is eBay, and I consider this to be my best cane, self-defense cane at least. And something to point out, a lot of people might not be aware of this. This is almost certainly old growth cocobolo, and you know that can be almost 1,000 points on the Janka scale less dense or less hard than Ipe. But I think what's happening these days is with the depletion of resources and such, and you know, just economy, that a lot of new growth is being used. And believe it or not, despite this Ipe on the Janka scale being heavier and harder with a greater density, and actually having more mass, this cocobolo cane is heavier. And you know, this is a gnarly piece of cocobolo scrap I bought, so it very well could have been old growth. But I did get this as a decking scrap, and you know, what they're using for decking is probably not premium Ipe. Still a nice piece of wood, but you know, if you find Ipe and it really doesn't make you go wow, it's probably new growth, because this it's not as dense as this piece of cocobolo. And that really should never be the case. Hell of a nice cane though, and that's it. I'll have a couple more before long.
Are you or someone you know suffering from or struggling with stupidity? Are you a moron? Is he or that special she? Don't despair. Compelling new research from some guy at the University of Harvard has shown that not all morons are intractable. Some can even learn to hold a book. In a recent paper titled Periodic Administration of Therapeutic Force Boosts IQ in Really Stupid Subjects, using a specially designed proprietary smart stick, the otherwise insurmountably hard head of the moron can be communicated with, in some cases allowing it to learn new things or see certain behaviors.
This product has not been approved by the FDA and is not intended to diagnose, cure, or treat any disease. Talk to your inner voice before using on others. Not intended for children, the intelligent, or nursing mothers. May cause bleeding, agony, or worsening conditions and death. Call now